I promise I can teach you things you were not supposed to know.
Take a moment and look at the sigils listed in this little online poster people would call a meme. You got 5 on top, right? And you got 4 on the sides. 4 times 5. Yeah? 5, 5, 5. 5. Make of that what you will. Alright. Now that you poured over them, let's get down to it. People love to shop shit like this around without looking into it. There are numerous corruptions, to say the very least. The best example is the swastika, which most people date back to the Vedics, the dots, not feathers. It's older than that. It has to do with the fucking sky above us. And all it was inverted, turned 45 degrees. The colors were altered, and there was a circle inscribed within the box. That's crudely what happened in terms of the Nazi Reich, the Third Reich, or whichever Reich it is in this timeline. I should probably read some of these, but I don't really want to. You guys could take screenshots and run through them. Most people probably won't. If you were to... Here. Take a screenshot again. It has to do with this jazz. If you look closely at what looks like the tic-tac-toe, but isn't the tic-tac-toe, you got a 4 at the center, and on the outside you got the 12, which has to do with the zodiac all over again, and the nature of matter. I didn't mention that one. There's a few in here I didn't mention. For a very good reason. Just the same. And 10 to 1, somebody's going to cry about this, probably. Also, when I clicked on here to leave comments, I got one of those, it's another form of censorship, where these kids say, please keep things respectful, blah, 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 which also means if you step out of line and you say something worth a fucking goddamn, and you challenge some of these little duds that are shopping shit around, they're going to block you. That's the gist of it. With that in mind, I have blocked a lot of people. Just so you know. Just so you know. I'm human too. I do understand not wanting to put up with certain shit. It's a fine line. It's a slippery slope. It's tricky shit. It's just like talking about this subject matter here. In terms of censorship. Any and all censorship is bad. It lends itself to more censorship. That's what we're experiencing right now. But people aren't thinking about that. They're not thinking about the freedom of speech. Because it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. That's if it ever existed. But as always, what the fuck do I know? As it reads, and I wander down some stairs. Just to the right of the 88 is the sigil for the Black Sun, which has to do with the center of our realm, and by extension, the messenger Mercury, which is also Buddha, Dionysus. It has many names. A lot of people like to talk about Jesus or Isis and all those other names. It's the same fucking thing. Not to be confused with Christ. 14 has to do with the magic sigil I Am, which by extension has to do with the fucking ether. The Donnie Darko 88 has to do with the guided stars above, most people refer to as the zodiac. It's also known as the little animals. And a lot of duds out there call it the fixed stars, which is incorrect. The one on the upper right is a corruption of the Rainbow Bridge, aka Anata Karana, 3 7s, which total 21. If you multiply them, it's gonna shake out to 343, if I'm not mistaken. 18 has to do with the flower of life, which I guarantee you've never seen described in an outline. You always see flowery, circular paths, which spirals do represent reality, but you aren't told where we are, what this is, how it works, etc., because you're not supposed to know. The Iron Cross also crudely represents the nature of light, as popular science has ceded to the public sphere. Just think of the plus sigil in contrast to the multiplication sigil. The former has to do with electricity. The latter has to, and it says Ladder, it should be Latter, has to do with magnetism. In other words, yang and yin in that case. Yeah. Wedged between the Iron Cross and the Flower of Life is the sigil for water. And if you're familiar with the back of the it should say Back to the Future, the flux capacitor. Hold on, these keys in my pocket are bugging me. Saying Back to the Future, the flux capacitor. It simply has to do with the nature of the low end of light related to, oh yeah, the 121. It should be TWO. The 121 gigawatts, that jazz. 21 reverts back to 9. 12 in particular has to do with the Rainbow Bridge I already mentioned. Reality is based on this, having to do with the 3 axes. And it says axes, like chopping wood, unfortunately, because Google's fucking retarded. X, Y, and Z. If you draw a little triangle with just the bones of the triangle, upright or, downward dog, so to speak. The X, Y, and the Z. How should I put it? Exchange the letters for the numbers. In other words, X is a 6, Y is a 7, Z is an 8. And subtract them from each other. Have yourself a laugh. It's lesser magic. You're not supposed to understand this shit. And what I just told you reflects reality, but most people don't give a flying fuck what I could teach them. Twin Peaks symbol.